Superman stands as the most iconic hero who helped launch the superhero genre. While his strength, charm, and unwavering heroism have earned him admiration across generations, some portrayals have faced sharp criticism, labeled as too dark, too dull, or lacking emotion. These mixed reactions have shaped a legacy unlike any other. Today we are diving into the most loved and most hated versions of Superman in history. Every generation sees Superman through a different lens, shaped by the era's fears, hopes, and expectations. This is why certain versions of Superman are celebrated while others are met with disappointment or even backlash. Understanding which portrayals resonate most with people helps reveal what audiences truly value or reject in a hero. At his core, Superman stands for hope. At his best, he is a symbol of light in dark times, not just because of his immense power, but because of what he represents. He embodies truth, justice, and the courage to always do what is right, even when it is difficult. It is this moral clarity that endears him to so many. What also makes Superman relatable and beloved is his origin. Though he is an alien with godlike powers, he was raised with humility and compassion. His upbringing teaches him kindness and restraint. Even with the ability to do things no one else can, he never sees himself as above others. That balance between strength and humility is what makes Superman truly timeless. Of course, people also value consistency. No matter who's writing or directing him, fans expect Superman to remain the same, hopeful, honest, and good. But when these qualities are missing, fans often turn against certain versions of Superman. Some portrayals are disliked because they're too dark or grim, especially when Superman becomes angry, ruthless, or too violent. It feels like a betrayal of the character's hopeful nature. Fans also dislike versions where Superman seems weak or passive, where he just watches things happen instead of taking action. Among all the versions of Superman, the one played by Christopher Reeve in the late 1970s and early 80s is still one of the most loved. His performance in Richard Donner's movie was fascinating. It captured everything people love about the character, such as his kindness, warmth, courage, and strength. Reeve made Superman feel real, not just as a hero, but as a person. His Clark Kent was clumsy and gentle. Also, his Superman was confident and kind. The movie focused on hope and doing what's right, which helped gain uplift. Reeve's Superman became the gold standard, a recap that Superman is more than his powers, but a symbol of the good we all wish to see in the world. However, the animated Superman, which was voiced by Tim Daly and later George Newbern, became one of the most respected versions of the character. This version didn't just focus on action, it delved deeper and explored powerful ideas like trust, personal loss, and how the public sees heroes. Even while facing tough challenges, Superman stayed hopeful and grounded. The show also gave a lot of attention to his close relationships with characters like Lois Lane, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The series showed a Superman who wasn't just strong, but also emotionally deep. Someone who could feel pain, doubt, and joy. This helped younger viewers and longtime fans connect with him, making Superman's place in pop culture even stronger through animation. Another unforgettable version came in the 1996 comic Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross. This story showed an older Superman living in a dark future where many heroes had lost their way. Though he retired, he came back when chaos spread. Instead of turning bitter, he stays true to his ideal. This Superman faces heartbreaking losses and the burden of leadership, but never gives up on hope, and the story paints him as a mythic figure, like a wise king struggling with the weight of the world but refusing to rule through fear. Fans love this version for its powerful mix of emotion, art, and moral strength. Then there's Henry Cavill's take on Superman, which started with 2013's Man of Steel directed by Zack Snyder. His version sparked a lot of criticism, but also earned deep loyalty from many fans. Cavill's Superman feels more like someone living in today's world, though unsure of how he fits in, carrying the weight of being powerful yet constantly judged. His story dives into what it's like to be an outsider, trying to do the right thing in a world that doesn't always welcome him. While some critics felt the tone was too serious, others appreciated how this version showed Superman's emotional struggles and realistic challenges. Cavill gave us a Superman who isn't just a symbol, but a person who wants to belong, struggles with choices, and still tries to be a force for good. Also, Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman captures the heart of Superman by combining epic storytelling with deep emotion. It shows a Superman who is all-powerful and deeply human, filled with kindness and facing his mortality with grace. However, in Smallville, with Tom Welling as Clark Kent, the story of Superman is told before the cape. It focused on his teenage years, making him feel real and relatable. The show explores his struggles with identity, friendships, and responsibility, allowing viewers to grow with him as he slowly becomes the hero we know. The New 52 reboot gave us a younger, more impulsive Superman. He was bold, flawed, and at times rebellious, which divided fans but also brought fresh energy. This version questioned everything from his place in the world to his moral compass, making him feel more like a modern, struggling person than a perfect icon. In addition, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman and Supergirl and Superman and Lois is warmly received for showing a heroic figure who's also a caring father and husband. His version blends classic heroism with modern family life, proving Superman doesn't have to stay frozen in time. Instead, he grows, faces relatable challenges, and still inspires hope. While Superman has had many well-loved portrayals, some versions also sparked strong criticism for straying too far from his core values. Just like in Superman Returns, Brandon Routh's role aimed to honor Christopher Reeve's iconic performance, but many fans found this Superman too passive and emotionally distant. His lack of action, especially in storylines involving fatherhood and Lex Luthor, left audiences feeling disconnected. More extreme critics that came from alternate universe stories, which made the character despair and gritty. In the Superman at Earth's End movie in 1995, Superman uses guns and fights cloned Hitlers in a dystopian world. This grim and violent version felt completely odd. The harsh tone and brutal behavior made many reject it as one of the worst depictions of Superman. However, Dawn of Justice in 2016 also triggered heavy arguments from fans. Henry Cavill brought physical presence to the role, but the character's brooding attitude and the decision to kill General Zod shocked many because he isn't known to kill. And this fundamental part of his identity and its violation split audiences. Some felt the choice made the movie more complex, others saw it as a betrayal of his ideals. The movie's tone divided fans, triggering several questions like how much Superman can be changed before losing what makes him special. Another most hated Superman is Max Landis's American Alien, which showed a more rebellious and self-centered Superman. While some appreciated its fresh take, many felt it stripped away the hero's compassion and humility, making him feel unfamiliar and uninspiring. In other words, the role of Superman can ignore their core values, selflessness, and moral strength. Fans are quick to reject versions that lose the essence of what makes Superman a timeless and inspiring character. Another Superman story fans criticized after the major reboot, Crisis on Infinite Earths. This challenged how fans saw the character, especially in the Pocket Universe storyline, where Superman makes the shocking decision to kill a group of Kryptonian criminals. This left many fans, mostly those who believe Superman should never kill, no matter the circumstances. While some readers saw this as a more realistic exploration of moral dilemmas, many others felt it betrayed Superman's core values, making fans lose their trust and also harder to admire him. Over the years, many controversial stories have shaken fan confidence. Even after Superman revealed his secret identity to the world, his father Jor-El being portrayed as a villain, and him giving up his American citizenship were all bold moves that didn't sit well with everyone. Even some older comics have been criticized for giving outdated and problematic content. These plotlines often sparked arguments about how far writers should go when reinventing such an iconic character, especially when those changes clash with what fans expect him to represent. Another frequent complaint is that Superman can come off as too perfect. Some portrayals make him seem like a flawless, overly noble hero with no real inner struggles, which can feel dull or unrealistic. Supporters of this version argue that Superman's pure heart is exactly what makes him special in today's world. He's a symbol of hope and moral strength, but others believe that to keep him interesting, Superman needs some inner conflict, vulnerability, or self-doubt to show that he's still human beneath the cape. Also, many fans think Clark Kent used to hide in plain sight, and this feels outdated, unnecessary, especially for someone as powerful and unmistakable as Superman. A disguise made up of just glasses, a slouched posture, and a messy hairstyle doesn't seem believable. It's hard for people to accept that the world's most iconic hero could hide behind such a flimsy mask, and yet no one around him notices. Clark is usually portrayed as quiet, clumsy, and unsure of himself, and this contradicts the exact opposite of Superman's bold, confident personality. To many, it feels more like a silly act than a clever disguise. The awkwardness and stuttering seem like he's been forced to play the role, and it's even embarrassing, especially for a character who's meant to be noble and inspiring. Some critics also question why Superman needs a job at all. He's a nearly invincible alien who can fly, stop bullets, and hear things from miles away. This makes Clark feel more like a plot device writers use to create drama or some humor, rather than a profound role of Superman's identity, including the fact that nobody ever connects the dots between Clark and Superman. Still, others argue that Clark Kent isn't just a disguise. He's the real heart of Superman, which shows that Clark reflects the side of Superman that's vulnerable, kind, and deeply connected to humanity. Instead of being a mask, he's a way for Superman to stay grounded and relatable, especially since he was raised as a human. Despite the fact, many people still can't get past how unconvincing the disguise looks. So for them, Clark Kent comes off more as an old-fashioned comic book character rather than a believable part of the Superman mythos. This shows the gap between the most loved and most hated versions of Superman. Let's know your thoughts in the comments. We'll love to read them. And don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button to get the first updates on our latest videos. Thank you for watching.